may end the year with a new record for the highest close ever. All of this and more. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off with the dollar to silver ratio. It is now sitting at 1,092 per ounce. But what does the dollar to silver ratio actually mean? Well, according to the US debt clock, it is the year-over-year increase in the US M2 money supply divided by the yearly world production of silver in ounces. So in other words, it is how many dollars have been created divided by how many ounces of silver have been mined this year. Now, when it comes to mining silver, the numbers are roughly the same every single year. Typically, we see about 1 billion ounces of silver mined. We are on pace to do nearly that in 2024. So it's not necessarily the mining of silver that changes, it is the amount of dollars which are created that changes. Here we could see the M2 money supply for this year, and according to the St. Louis Fed, it has continued to go up. As rates go down, it becomes easier to borrow money, and more dollars are being created. But where are rates going from here? Well, according to CME Group, there's a 86% chance of another rate cut at the upcoming Fed meeting on December 18th. Fast forward to March, they're predicting rates will come down once again. In fact, they're predicting another rate cut in July of 2025, and in December of 2025, they're saying it's most likely that we will see yet another rate cut by then. So if rates continue to go down, as I said before, this will make it easier for businesses and individuals to borrow money. And when you borrow dollars, you are literally creating dollars out of thin air. This is going to ultimately cause more inflation. So let's get back to the dollar to silver ratio eclipsing 1,000 per ounce. Now, this is not necessarily saying that an ounce of silver should cost $1,092, but rather it shows that the amount of dollars in existence are increasing at a very rapid pace compared to the amount of silver that is being mined. I mean, literally over $1,000 created for every ounce of silver that's been mined this year. It just kind of puts into perspective what's going on. And when we look at gold, almost $8,000 created for every ounce of gold that has been mined so far this year. I mean, with the dollar supply increasing, it's no surprise that we're seeing more inflation and we're seeing the price of silver and gold go up. The People's Bank of China has definitely noticed this, and yes, they did pause buying gold for 6 months, but they've now resumed buying, and they're buying in large quantities because the bank would rather hold gold than any other currency. Bullion held by the People's Bank of China climbed by 160,000 fine troy ounces last month to 72.96 million fine troy ounces, according to official data released on Saturday. The People's Bank of China had added to its stockpiles for 18 consecutive months up until April this year, helping to underpin the strength in bullion prices. The resumption in purchases shows the People's Bank of China is still keen to diversify its reserves and guard against currency depreciation, even with gold at historically expensive levels. So maybe if the large central banks are worried about currency depreciation and to protect against that, they're literally buying physical gold, then maybe we should consider doing the same. I know a lot of people have their eyes on Bitcoin. It's currently floating around $100,000 per Bitcoin. It did go over that mark just a few days ago, but the truth of the matter is the central banks around the world, they're not buying Bitcoin. They want something physical, something that they can hold on to, so they're buying physical gold instead. And that brings us to silver price. We might set a new record this year for the highest nominal silver price close that we have ever seen in US dollars. Look, silver is up 30% so far this year. The yearly high was $34.75. Now, after the election, silver calmed down a bit. It's currently sitting at $31.01. Now, 2 times in the last 50 years, we've seen silver go to about $50 an ounce. But when it ended the year, it was quite a bit lower than that. Let's go back in time to 2011. You can see the high was $48.70. However, it ended the year at $28.18. 1 year before, in 2010, it closed at $30.63, which we are higher than that right now. However, if we go back to 1979, you can see silver closed the year at $32.20. This is the record for the highest close silver has ever had. And notice, when it ended the year, it was actually the highest price for the year. Silver was skyrocketing at the end of 1979. In 1980, it went up to $49.45. And then on Silver Thursday, the price was cut in half in just one day, and it continued to fall, ending the year at $15.50. So $32.20 is the mark to beat. We're very, very close right now. Is it possible that we will see a little bump in silver price by the end of the year to see a new record? Well, let's take a look at the U.S. economic reports for the end of the year and see if anything jumps out at us, right? So Monday, Tuesday, not a lot going on. Wednesday, however, we are going to get the CPI numbers, the core CPI year over year. So we could see some fireworks on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're getting the producer price index numbers, core PPI year over year. So Wednesday and Thursday of next week, it's very possible that we could see a jump up or a decline in precious metals prices, depending on what these numbers look like. And then, of course, the following week, we're going to get the FOMC interest rate decision. If they do decide to drop rates by a quarter point, then I certainly think we will be able to see $32, maybe even $33 silver by the end of the year. So we should know in the next few weeks if this is a possibility. Obviously, if there's any sort of black swan events, we could see a massive jump up in both gold and silver price. So really anything could happen, but it is possible that we set a new record this year. Both silver and gold have had great years. Gold hit a new all-time high of nearly $2,800 per ounce, but it seems like the rally is not over yet, with many banks calling for $3,000 gold next year. We'll see what happens with silver. I'm predicting another great year for silver as well, hoping to see it climb to nearly $40 an ounce next year. So we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out, but that's the update on silver news. I'll see you all in my next one.